Boom! Welcome to the Sebs Show, everybody. It's your boy Sebs here, and today I'm welcomed by my special guest, Rockstar Z, and of course my co-host Gib. Z, how are you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. Excited to talk some fights and hopefully find some bets for this weekend.
Yeah, for sure, man. Z is officially our first guest on the Sebs Show, Gib. So let's treat him with the most upright of courtesy, 100%. We want him to come back.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So this is a pretty good card from top to bottom. I think a good main event. Robbie Lawler, Dos Anjos. You got Perry Santiago Ponzinibbio in there, which I think should be the co-main event. I don't know why they have Emmet and Lamas as the co-main. That was a little weird, but I think it was because Aldo pulled out last minute and he was already the co-main with Lamas. They didn't want to take that away, but. Let's start this up, man. First up, we got Jordan Mein at minus 135, and the comeback on Eric Silva at plus 120. Gib, I'll let you start this one off.
Well, both coming off of losses. I believe Jordan Mein's coming off of more than two, correct? Three. So, I guess it could be an easy layup fight for Eric Silva to do those spinning kicks that he normally does, the improvisation that he uses as well. Recently, he just hasn't been on the ball. So, if he's hungry, he'll definitely do it. Eric Silva tends to come off the stamina train a bit when he starts to pose a little bit more and admire his work. So if Jordan Mein puts a really big pressure on him and just constantly fights throughout the rounds, he could grind a good win out of Eric Silva if he tries to end it early or gets too cocky.
Yeah, definitely a weighted victory there. I think Jordan Mein definitely has a better Muay Thai, a little bit better wrestling. Watch him fight live against Emil Meek, where he got just picked apart by Emil Meek. Meek looked real good in that fight. And then against Bilal Muhammad here, a tough loss he took there as well. Coming off back-to-back losses. So, like you said, so it's Eric Silva. It's a toss-up fight, man. I'm passing on this one, but I got Jordan Mein here. How about you, Z?
Yeah, I'll lean with Jordan Mein, but again, I'm not gonna bet on this fight. I think this card's interesting because I don't think it's like an awesome card, but it's just got a lot of depth, like from top to bottom, all the fights are solid, and they all have the same theme, that being like it's like everyone's beauty versus beast. Like all these fights, you get a guy who's more like fundamentally sound, more classically trained, and then another guy who's more of just an athletic beast who throws bigger shots. And in this case, Jordan's the beauty, Eric's the beast, and I just think those fundamentals are going to carry Jordan Mein through this fight. When you do look at those last three losses, I think those are all to pretty solid guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bilal Muhammad, very good guy. Emil Meek, on the up. And Thiago Alves, who beat, but he was Mein was winning that fight. And so I definitely lean with Jordan Mein. But again, Eric Silva, he's always dangerous. But I think Jordan Mein's got more left in the tank, and he's more fundamental, so he should win the fight. But the line kind of reflects that. So I'll pass and look for more solid spots, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So next up, we got Nordine Taleb at minus 147 and Danny Roberts at plus 130. Z, I'll let you take this one, bud.
Sure. This is I like this fight. Like it's very evenly matched, in my opinion. I'd say Danny Roberts maybe throws a little bit more wildly than Nordine Taleb. Nordine likes to pick his shots, kind of pick and poke, chop the leg a lot. But Danny Roberts is a southpaw, so that chop isn't exactly there for him unless he wants to risk going inside. But for me, again, this is just a clear pass. I can see it being a well-contested fight going three rounds. I'll lean with Nordine Taleb. So again, like the line reflects that, so it's an easy pass from a betting perspective. But I'm looking forward to this one. It should be a good scrap.
Yeah, this is one I'm looking forward to as well, man. Taleb is like that classically trained striker, like we were just talking about, and coming out of TriStar and whatnot. Kind of like a point fighter, but he's very tentative on the feet. Doesn't tend to throw a lot of volume. He won't wow you with volume or whatnot or anything crazy. Has good wrestling, decent jiu-jitsu and whatnot. But Roberts is good, man. He's picking apart Bobby Nash until he knocked him out, and he was getting grinded out for a little bit, but then every time on the feet was picking him apart. Looked good against Mike Perry until he got knocked out.
Yeah, he got hurt like every round that fight, man.
He got hurt.
Let's be real.
He got hurt, but he
was pushing a competitive pace.
Yeah, he was hanging in there.
Yeah.
Sorry, and one thing I forgot to mention about Taleb is like his feints are really, really good. Like the way he fakes you with his shoulders and everything, and he also throws a piston right cross, so that's kind of open for him versus southpaw. But
yeah,
that's true.
I lean Taleb in this fight, to
Yeah.
be honest, man. Like he's just like the more classically trained striker and everything. I think he'll get the job done. I believe he's the bigger welterweight as well. So yeah, man, I like him in this spot, but it's a pass for me. Next fight we have.
What about Gibb?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Gib.
No worries, man. I really like this fight because Danny Roberts only come off of that one Mike Perry fight that we just talked about. Really likes to grind up in the corners if it gets really heavy. He can take punches. Obviously, not the big KO, but I mean for arguably almost three rounds took shots from Mike Perry. Was fighting that day, so. Nordine Taleb, again, like you said, piston jab, and it's really true stylistically, kind of Beauty and the Beast, guys who have their hands down and come forward against guys who have a little bit more polished stand-up. So this is definitely going to be really fun to watch. I want to take Roberts in this fight, but I wouldn't take anything away from Nordine Taleb, and he's Canadian as well, so got to give that one up to him too.
All right, so next up is my first bet of the night. We got Alessio Di Chirico minus 115, Olawale Bamgbose plus 102. Initially, I was leaning like as a pass here. I didn't think much of this fight, and then as I did tape, I was like, "Fuck, Bamgbose is bad, man. Like he's bad. Like he's throwing double karate chops and stuff at Paulo Bortino or Paulo Costa. He gasses after 3 minutes. Like the announcer said it twice in this fight. Like Donald Cruz is like, now we know he has 3 minutes of gas. Like, and then like if you can take that, like you're good to go after. Also, the man's a quitter. As soon as he hits the floor, like if somebody's on top of him, he's not looking to retain guard or anything, or like try and get out. As I know, Mutate's a fucking monster on the ground, but still. And he just like his gas tank is so damn questionable. His movement, he moves way too much for somebody who can't move that much and isn't able to with all that body mass. To like have the gas tank to be able, he just moves a lot, man, and I think it makes him lose rounds and stuff. And you'd think he comes with more power. It's like he gets lucky with these power shots. It's like sometimes he gets scared to get into brawls or whatnot. Something else I don't like is like, I know a lot of fighters have this, but when you have other jobs and stuff, man, if you're a UFC fighter, I think you should be solely a UFC fighter. I know there's lots of UFC fighters that aren't, but when I see you working in a warehouse or whatever, it's a little concerning that you're not putting your full time and effort into the gig you're doing. Alessio Di Chirico, a little bit more technical. I wouldn't say like this guy is like a super, super technical guy, but he's a little bit more technical. He's got good fundamentals, and he's not going to gas after 3 minutes. I like him, man. And I took the shot on him with 2.3 units, 2 units at minus 115. I like it a lot. I was waiting for it actually to go down after weigh-ins because I thought people would see Bamgbose and be like, he's fucking huge and just take him. But I'm not going to risk it. It's hurt myself too much in the past. So I took the shot here. How about you, Geb?
Well, Alessio is a very logical fighter. He's got a little bit of subs in there, a little bit of strikes. Could be up against very tough competition. Bamgbose. I mean, yeah, he does improvise strikes a lot with the karate chops and all that kind of stuff. But he is up against top guys who were on winning streaks and arguably generally avoided. So you never know. But Alessio is coming in off of a loss against Eric Spicely, so we might see some holes in that.
Well, I don't think so. Like what's his name?
But you think he won't even get into the ground at all, eh?
Yeah, no chance.
The style that he has, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, if
the
he gets
submission's not a threat.
No.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not here. I see like Bamgbose standing with him and like still losing gas. If he takes to the ground, he's gonna lose gas within a minute. He'll be gone within a minute. If he doesn't take to the ground, he'll be done in 3. So I got as all the boys like to call him Italy. I got Italy 2.3 units to win 2 units at -115. Z, how about you, my man? Z.
I get the fade on Owali, but my thing is like against Paulo kind of just pressured him and stayed really defensively tight and just forced Owali to punch himself out. And Owali had to move backwards the whole time because he was pressured by Borrachinha, who's like a powerful striker. Whereas the Chirico, I don't think carries the same threat. So I don't think he's going to be able to get Owali on his back foot the same way Paulo did. And of course, Hall is, lightning quick, big KO power. And Caesar, like you said, awesome on the ground and also just like a higher level fighter overall and also more physical than De Chirico. So I get the temptation to fade him, but I mean, he punched himself out. He flat just punched himself out his last fight, but he was landing a lot of shots, And Chirico is a guy who went life and death with Gareth McClellan. I don't see much in Alessio Di Chirico, and I can just pass. You know what I mean? Like I get that you want to fade that gas tank because it's not a question mark. It's just a terrible gas tank. Like he fades every single fight. But he's also a wild and dangerous guy, and we just haven't seen Alessio really beat anybody of any kind of close fights with bad guys. So for me, it's kind of a scrub fight, and I can just watch it and let it play out.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's fair. I was honestly that was the last one of my last bets of the card. I was gonna let it pass, but fuck, I saw the gas tank. I can't let it pass.
I understand it.
Yeah, for sure. Next fight, I'm gonna let Z take it off because I know it's a fight we're really juiced to talk about. We got Jared Cannonier -176 taking on John Blachowicz +155. Z, start us off, my man.
Are we there already?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're going off the best fight odds.
Yeah, we're going off best fight odds.
All right, bud. Snuck up on me. This is my bet of the night so far. I got 3 units on Jared Cannonier -170. I like him in this spot for a whole bunch of reasons. Start off with Jan Blachowicz. He hits. It looks like he hits hard because he swings really like tight, but that's kind of why he gasses himself out in every single fight. And when you have Jared Cannonier, he's a very fluid, very intelligent striker, knows how to slip, knows how to bait you into counter. He mixes up the timing on his jab. He can walk you into his right hand. So he does a lot of things very, very well, as well as like being light on his feet, mobile. And his conditioning is outstanding. People were chirping him for his last fight, but I think he just put a clinic on for 3 rounds. He was never in any kind of trouble, and he was fresh enough to finish in the round. So, credit to that guy, Nick Rourke. He was, he had a chin. He's a tough dude. Thought Cannonier looked amazing. And that was the first time he was training full-time at a real MMA gym, not part-time in Alaska. And also in an interview, because people bring up his takedown defense, in an interview, he said the one thing he's focusing on at the lab is learning how to integrate different arts. So instead of he said, going from striking to being on my back and then start grappling, the takedown defense, the in-between aspects of the game, which, for being real, MMA Lab is pretty good for that type of stuff, being just a well-rounded mixed martial artist. And honestly, the argument that Jan Blachowicz is going to be able to take down Cannonier is the same. It reminds me of when people said Cote was going to take down Thiago Alves. It's like Jan Blachowicz isn't a wrestler. Yeah. So the fact, for him to try that game plan is already a big question mark. I don't think he's going to try to take him down. I'm not sure he can take him down. But I know even if he tries and even if he takes him down, he won't be able to do that for 3 rounds. And I don't think he can finish Jared even if he's on top, because again, like Jared got dominated by Glover, but I wouldn't say he got his ass whooped. Like he
No,
retained guard very
not at
well.
all.
He was very defensive off the bottom. He clearly lost all 3 rounds, but I think his defensive guard's pretty good. And if Yan's grappling, that's just gonna, make him tire quicker. Now, the one thing that I think Yan can have success with here is body shots because Jared moves his head so much, and because Yan does tense up a lot when he strikes. Like when you're digging to the body, root and tuck the body, you want to really stab it in. So Yan can have success digging to the body. He's obviously got a sweet left kick to the body as well. So that's what I'm worried about. But it's really only a concern for the first half of the fight. After that, Yan's going to be so tired swinging these big loopy bombs that it's going to make Cannonier look amazing because that's Cannonier's game. He wants to bait you in to slip and counter. We saw him do that versus Eon. And also he got up off the bottom a lot versus Eon. So
Yes.
I don't really think that was just necessarily Jared Cannonier being a turtle on his back. I think it was just, Glover has a sweet top game.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
He's an awesome grappler, man.
He smashes
The Hulk's
dudes on
a
top.
hard hitter
Yeah.
coming in that fight too.
Yeah, exactly. Eon hits hard too, and Eon kind of swings the same way Blachowicz does. And now, again, when we talk about Blachowicz, it's like he beat Devin Clark, and he was losing that fight. And I don't rate Devin Clark very highly at all. I think he's all hype. He's not very skillful in what he does. He might be a promising athlete, but that's about it. He couldn't knock out Pat Cummins, who's one of the worst strikers in the UFC. He went life and death. He went life and death with Igor Prokrayets.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his only win is legitimate win, I think, is the body kick to Ilir Latifi, and I accept that, even though it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
he is dangerous early
win.
in the fight, but that happened like 2 minutes into the fight. If we get past that 2-minute mark, Jared Cannonier is going to light this dude up. He's the faster guy. Yeah. He's the better striker. He has way better cardio, and I think he's shorn up the defensive, the takedown defense. So I love him. I cap him relatively high, like at least 75% here. So for -170, I think it's a great bet.
Yeah, for sure. Cannonier, man, so crisp inside the pocket. Like you're saying, the way he slips and moves punches, but like when he gets confident, I love when he knows that the guy's punches are in hands, and he'll bring you on. I love that. Like that confidence. Guy has a rock solid chin, man, the Terminator kind of chin. And like he's just so crisp.
Yeah, like he got.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, like, he got knocked out by Sean Jordan, but that's a 265 heavyweight hitting him behind the ear.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And it was a good stoppage because he went out, but he got hit behind the ear and then took some ground and pound and then popped right back up. It wasn't like he got flatlined for 2 minutes or. Anyone goes down from that shot, right? So
100%. And I just think his boxing is going to be supreme here to John Blachowicz, his kickboxing. I think Blachowicz, like you said, he has that body kick that's that hurt Latifi's, hurt Devin Clark, as we saw. It's dangerous, but like other than that, I don't know, man, if he's going to be able to like he'll be able to pull it off a few times, but. To what extent is it gonna this guy has a mean poker face, Jared, so I think he's gonna get a little diminished when he sees it doesn't hurt Jared. Cannonier's gonna be pressing forward the whole fight. Literally pressuring him to the point where I think he will just truly break and lose his cardio after that. Maybe I'll give him a full round of him being able to throw shots and stuff. At that second round, he's going to be so gassed. He's at the end of the first, he's going to have hands on the knees, walking to the corner. He's going to be really gassed. And Cannonier's going to look like a monster walking to his corner, not even relatively as tired. I got Jared.
Let me jump in there because the thing about Jared getting tired, I think what he does really well is he breathes really well. Like you see him like drop his shoulders sometimes in the middle of fights. He's just exhaling and resetting.
Yeah.
And he's conscious about getting his breaths in, you know what I mean? So I think that's one of the reasons he can manage his cardio so well. A polar opposite is Yan Blachowicz, who tenses up and bites down and just throws. He saps his energy himself. He punches himself out. That fight against Pat Cummins, you see how tired he gets, man. But
That's something a lot of people are saying. Like Jean's gonna be the wrestler here is gonna take him down. Like you're saying, I don't see that as a path. Like we've never seen that before. Like him just initiating all these grapples, and it's not like we've seen Cannonier already with the takedown defense against Kudalaba, who's like has 10 years of Greco-Roman experience of wrestling. Like he's a real grappler, like really better than Blachowicz 100%. So I think when it comes down to it, Cannonier is going to be pressing forward, landing big shots to the body. That has, especially when he sees that cardio, is going to be hurting on Jean. He's going to be landing heavy hooks to the body. He's going to go for some nasty combos, 1-3, 1-4. You name it, man. He's going to be hitting him with a double hooks to the body, to the head. Just to like, I see him hurting Jean to the left side of the body a lot, man, with that hook. I see that playing a part. I don't know why. I just see that being his lead left hook being a part of this fight. But other than that, I got my man Cannonier here, 5 units. I got him at minus 176 to win. Sorry guys, let me go check right now. To win 2.84 units. So very, very confident in Cannonier to get the job done here, guys. Get Bubba cheer.
Well, with the Nick Rourke fight, he proved that he's still able to stay in the UFC even after a loss from a guy with such a high level like Teixeira. The man's ready for anything. Jan's coming in as a KSW champion, and I mean it was high level at a time. But obviously the fight over Pat Cummings and other high level guys like Alexander Gustafsson shows maybe he does have trouble hanging in there. So Devin Clark's submission was a good start for him. So now he's got Jerry Cannonier. I agree with you guys. I think Jerry Cannonier takes him out, and hopefully after that fight even gets him a nice little setup fight for something.
Yeah, I hope so too. He deserves it, man. This guy's very, very entertaining. Cannonier is one of the more entertaining guys at that division.
Oh yeah,
it's fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
And the thing is, one more thing about Yan versus Gus, because people were saying that Yan, had a good account of himself in that fight. But comparing Gus to Jared's crazy because Gus likes his range. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Yan was able to take that away from him, get in his grill and try to bust him up. And I really don't think he did that good a job. He landed like a couple okay shots. But against Jared, like Jared's inviting people in an exchange with him. He loves playing with people in the pocket. So like I think Yan's game kind of plays right into Jared's counter striking here. Yeah, and also the under, I think MMA Kelton has the under in this because it's under 2.5 for plus 150. So like that covers you just in case. Yeah, that covers you just in case Yan lands something, and if Yan gasses out and Jared really turns it up, you know what I mean? As long as it's before the halfway mark of the third round, we catch that too.
That'd be an interesting bet.
Yeah,
that's something. But Yan is super tough, right? Like he doesn't really wobble that much. Like he gets hit and he wobbles, but he does have a chin on him, so it could be.
I could see this going to decision.
Yeah, I could see Jared just winning the second and third round, or all three for that matter.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so next up we got Tim Elliott minus 253 and Pietro Menga plus 220. I'll start us off here. I got Tim Elliott 4 units minus 260 to win 1.53 units. It's minus 253 right now. Wow, that pisses me off a little bit. I could have waited. But yeah, I was looking at tape of Tim Elliott for this fight. The guy we know what he likes to do. He's relentless with his takedowns. He's a wild man. He's crazy on the feet. And but a lot of people are saying like he doesn't take his career seriously. He loses in the UFC. I understand he's like 3-6 in the UFC, but my man went 5 rounds with Demetrius Johnson. That's no easy task in itself, as you see like the finishes that Demetrius has been piling up. He actually gave Demetrius some fits, and like Demetrius talks about that fight as like he's like just the size alone of Tim Elliott gave him problems and like the scrambling. He was like it was like the plan to like beat him up on the ground, and it was hard because of how much he was scrambling. So like I rate Tim Elliott for that. The man, and he won a very, very competitive season of Tough too. Like a lot of people talk shit about like the Tough, like the competitors on Tough and stuff. This guy won one of the toughest seasons of Tough, man, with all those champs, the flyweight champs there. For him to come back and win that season, I think meant a lot too. And what he did to Louis Smoke, how he just like schooled him, man. He just outworked him for 3 rounds, and he was saying, I know in his last fight he lost to Ben 10 rather quickly. I rate Ben 10 highly, but anybody can get caught. It could have been Ben 10 that got caught at that submission that fast. And like when the submission's that quick, man, you never know what happens. Ben 10 got as fast as, and we never saw Ben 10 be like a superb grappler like that too. So it was a little weird, like for that to be seen. So like I don't think it was something he was expecting. Nevertheless, this guy, I know he's going to be ready. He knows. I was listening to shout out to Canvas Conversations. I was listening to his interview with Tim Elliott, and that got me super pumped. He knows what he has to do for this fight. He says he's going to grind him out for just pressure him forward on the fence, take him to the floor, grind him out. He for how long he needs to grind him out for, and then get a finish. He says the guy, and it's true, man. Pietro Menga, if you watch tape, Muay Thai stand-up, jiu-jitsu on the ground, no in between, no wrestling to help you out, nothing really to like make it all stick together, no glue. And I think that's going to be a problem against a wild man like Tim Elliott. So I got Tim Elliott 4 units minus 260 to win 1.53 units. I'm pretty happy in that one. I like that play a lot. How about you, Z?
I'll be honest, I haven't watched any tape on Menga, so I can't really speak to this fight. So I know Tim Elliott's a scrambly guy.
Yeah.
But he also tends to drop the ball. You know, he does lose, he gets submitted, he gets but again, I haven't watched. I guess you could have. I don't know. I'm not gonna speak to it.
He has a pretty dangerous ground game, which does scare me against the guy like Tim Elliott. But I know there's guys that are going to be all over this fade on Tim Elliott. They think he's a fade here, but I think the man gets the job done. I think he gets relentless takedowns. I actually have him in my DK lineups as well. I think he's going to score a lot of takedowns. So
yeah, I think that's a good move. Put Tim Elliott in DK, because if he wins, it's about losing. It's like he always regains position, right?
Yeah,
like that just racks up points on DK.
Yeah, he's going to get advances and he's going to get takedowns a lot.
And I think Menga's coming in on a relatively short notice, right? Like maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, he's had 2 fights in 40 months. So he's had a crazy layoff, man. 2 fights in 40 months, and then he's coming in on a week short notice. So like, and then
is it a week? Because I thought Canvas Conversation.
Oh, Z just cut out there.
I could be wrong though.
Oh, Z, you cut out for a second.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah,
so,
you're good now. Yo, Z, can you hear us?
Hello. Where are they at?
There we go. I think it's back.
Z, can you hear us? I think we lost Z, guys.
Okay. Hold on. We'll have to get it back here.
There you are.
Oh, there's Z. Okay. We lost him for a second.
I'm back.
Yeah, okay. So what were you saying there about Canvas Conversations?
Oh, I thought like I saw an interview with Tim Elliott on there last week, and he was already talking about Menga. So I thought maybe he got the call more than a week ago.
Oh, it might be a week or
a couple weeks. But it's short notice.
It's super short notice, especially a guy who hasn't fought. Like the last time he fought, I gotta go on Tapology now just to make sure. I know he's had 2 fights in 40 months.
He was supposed to fight Oh wow, yeah.
He fought.
October 28th. He was supposed to fight. He had 2 canceled bouts. So he was training for a fight in October,
Yeah,
you
okay,
know.
and then they canceled on him.
But he's also got to fly over to Canada, right? Because he's from the UK.
Yeah, so that's something Tim was saying. He was saying that travel, plus being on super short notice like it is, because Scoggins pulled out. I think it was 8 days ago or 9 days ago. So this kid's
Okay.
yeah. So it is like almost a week. So yeah. Just like everything stacks up against him, man. And I was watching his tape. He's comfortable on his back. He's active and stuff, but he's super comfortable. A guy like Tim Elliott who's going to lay on top of you and is working with Robert Follis now at he's saying he's working at the PI and he's loving it with Follis, and he gets to bring in a bunch of his training partners, and when he wants to he goes to Extreme Couture, and he says it's something that that makes me wonder like why more guys don't take advantage of the PI. I think that's a good place to be training right now. I think.
Yeah,
Oh, we lost Z again.
Okay, hold on.
but it seems like awesome facility, all the recovery stuff. You get food there, so
Yeah.
it seems like a good situation if you can get your coaching staff to come with you.
Yeah, if you get your coaching staff to come with you and you have some training partners, you're good to go there, man. 100%. Got the food, you got everything to get you on. That guy Clint has you on point with the nutrition, so you're good to go. Gib, what do you think about this fight, man?
I really enjoy seeing Tim Elliott. I think he has a very unique style that not a lot of people kind of bring. It's very random, very jittery, lots of feints thrown in, lots of high-risk kind of maneuvers, but he always seems to coast to decisions really nicely. And, yeah, he does kind of tend to have a lot of problems. Guys like, obviously, Demetrius Johnson, after winning through the entire season, I think that was a pretty good feat after even being taken out of the UFC a long time ago. Obviously, Ben Tenwin, he's going on to do his big things as well. So a loss over him isn't that crazy. We haven't really seen Menga go through rounds very often. He normally starches guys in the first round. A lot of their records are somewhat, debatable, but I mean, I think this is still a good fight because obviously it's a proving ground for Menga and a proving ground for Tim Elliott because obviously he still wants it, and I'm sure he still wants to stay.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that short notice coming over, I think he's gonna gas, just like Tim Elliott said. I think
that's huge.
Yeah, this guy
Tim won't gas.
Yeah, Tim doesn't gas. That's the thing. He looks like he's gassing, but he's not. Like it's ridiculous.
He's got things under control. Yeah.
Yeah, at all times. So I think that's a bet I really like on this card, guys. Next up, got Chad Laprise minus 158 taking on Galore Bofando plus 140. Did anybody get to watch tape on Galore Bofando other than Charlie Ward?
Yeah, I saw a couple of his earlier fights.
Okay, cool.
He's just crazy.
That's what I'm saying, man. This guy is fucking insane. He's a Muay Thai kickboxing.
He's the beast in this fight.
Yeah, and he the way he sets up his spinning shit is a lot like Lando Venata, where he throws his kick out differently, where he's trying to find his range differently, and he'll throw the sliding side kick to your body just to keep you away, and then boom, he'll throw something spinning, and he's dangerous with it, man. He comes at you at very weird angles. I've seen the guy on his back. That's the one thing I wanted to see is him on his back and how he gets up. Very strong sweeps and stuff from the bottom. Just bullies his way through a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna lie, he doesn't have super technique on the ground, but he knows what he does and he can retain guard. In the clinch, he's strong enough to work his way in the clinch and do his work, and he's good on the ground too, man. He holds his own. He's got some heavy top position when he's on top of you. His stand up is just, it's fucking insane, man. And I know he's like 34, 35, but the guy is just ridiculous. If you see how athletic he is, he doesn't look that age. Just like the shots he was getting off on Charlie Ward were outstanding, and the kick to the body it's gonna be open in this fight too. I know it's not a southpaw to orthodox, but he switches stances all the time, so he's gonna make it open. He's gonna make himself open for that kick, that liver shot that he throws out, and I believe he hurts Chad Laprise here, man. I think he finishes Chad Laprise in the second round. Chad Laprise is good, but like, well, yeah, exactly, man. Like, fucking, his last fight was against Brian Camozzi, where like he was handily winning for 3 rounds. I'll give him that. He looked good, but it was against Brian Camozzi. And then the one fight that always like sticks into my head is that Francisco Trinaldo fight where Trinaldo knocked him out or finished him on the ground. And what was the fight? Fuck, in between that he had.
Yeah. What was the guy?
Before Camozzi. Oh, T-Ball Guti. And then before that he fought Ross Pearson, lost in split decision. So like he's had his ups and downs as well, and I think he's just not going to be ready for he's a guy who likes to move around as much as well. I think Galore Bofando is going to outmove him and outstrike him here if he has to go to decision too. So I got 2 units on Bofando up 35 to win 2.7 units. Pretty confident in that one, man. How about you guys? Who wants to go next here? Gib?
Well, I think Galore's got that one big knockout where he just threw the guy on the floor, ragdolled him. I don't think he'll do that to Laprise, but I do think he is going for takedowns, and he's going to be throwing huge bombs. It's just if Chad Laprise can move around them and box. We've seen him do it successfully. I mean, he won the season with a lot of good boxing, a lot of good stand-up stuff. Obviously, he's proved that he can run into guys, vets like Ross Pearson, who can chase a really good decision out of him and get TKO'd by Ronaldo. So, I mean, this could be Galore's fight to win, right? His perfect entry into the UFC off of a guy who's already kind of fading, right? But he is from Canada, so I gotta support that, and so I'll go with Chad Laprise on this. But again, it's a little unconfident. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just not enough tape on this guy.
Can't hear you, Sebs.
Yeah.
There you go. Or was that you?
Yeah, just me right now. He's going to come back in a minute. All right.
Well, I'll go on this one then. This again, like beauty versus beast, right? Chad Laprise likes to fight real pretty, but Galore Bofando is just, more physically imposing, more explosive, athletic, and just very wild. So it's tough for a guy who's, more technical and expects to have a technical fight, because he's going to be running into things he has no idea that are coming, right? So, but you always kind of want to favor fundamentals over flash, because if Galore doesn't get the knockout, it should be Chad Laprise landing more consistently and winning the long game.
Yes.
But it's just such a huge there's such a big KO threat here, especially early. Like, we haven't seen Galore go late, so he could be a Bamgbose. But at this point, it's a question mark, right? So maybe he can keep that pace up. I find it hard to believe that, but the real threat here is the early knockout, and I think Chad Laprise could run into something nasty. Mm-hmm. Also, Chad Laprise is a guy who hasn't really taken he's only taken the one knockout loss in his career, right? But he is a guy who's dealt with concussions in the past. That was kind of some inside scoop right before the Trinaldo fight. So I could definitely see him just taking a shot and going down.
He looks like a guy who's been in wars, man.
Yeah.
Even though he hasn't, but like it looks like he has.
Gym wars and stuff, Yeah. But he's the more fundamentally sound fighter. He's the guy with, you have to assume, better cardio, because we've seen him go the distance more often than not, and he's got higher output. It's just he might run into something wild. So from my perspective, it's a pass. I would lean with Galore from a betting perspective, because I'm surprised he's like a plus 140, and this dude is a freak. Like, he's just athletic freak, super explosive, super strong. So Chad Laprise has his hands full here, but he's got the skills to win the long game. So
Yeah,
that's my take on the fight.
I agree with you here. I think the value is all on Galore why I took the shot. But Chad the Priest is definitely no slouch. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we got I believe it's Julian Marquez. Yep. At minus 253, taking on Darren Stewart plus 220. Gib, I'll let you take this one.
Love that Dana White looking for a fight show.
Yeah.
That was a huge knockout.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, can he score that type of kick again? I mean, it's you really never know with these guys on streaks like that, right? Either they fall to their, complete counter when they get into the big game, or they just keep it going and just it builds on one another. So this is a really good fight. I actually want to see this one. Bamgbose throws his uppercuts really nicely though. So it'll be interesting to see how CEO kind of gets around that.
Yeah.
I think he takes it.
Who, Marquez?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Marquez does the job here as well. I'm surprised he's a minus 253. Thought he was going to be around the minus 170 range. Was going to take him if he was minus 170, man. I like this kid. He's the only thing about him is his cardio. If you watch even his fight against Chris Harrison Bellator, he after the first round he struggles with his cardio. He puts a lot in his punches and everything. His cardio is just like a little bit of a problem. Something that I can't trust at the price he's at. But and Darren Stewart is no slouch either, man. The guy's I think he's like a black belt.
Robertson, yeah.
Yeah, he lost to Carl Robertson,
that was a huge fight though.
I think Carl Roberson's like legit. I think we're gonna see more of Carl Robertson soon, and I think he's like very good prospect coming up. But then we saw his fight at 205 against Francisco Barroso, and both his fights, we saw that one fight where like he headbutted him or something, and he hurt Barroso, and then he TKO'd him, and then the other one where like he Barroso like grinded him out actually. So I honestly don't know what the fuck to expect from Darren Stewart, man. But I'll go with Julian Marquez here. It's a pass for me, but I'm thinking Julian Marquez by knockout. How about you, Z?
All right, just real quick, maybe check your connection. You're kind of fuzzy there, but yeah, Darren Stewart's a guy who, like, when you watch the his regional fights, he's actually pretty impressive. Like, he looked to be fundamentally sound on the feet, good ground and pound, pretty well built, athletic, but just been a bust so far in the UFC. He did have that clash of heads versus Barroso in their first fight, and then rematch in England. I think maybe he took him lightly, thinking, I already beat this guy easily, so I'll be able to do it again. It's my hometown, and kind of got trapped there. Get out of here, you bastard.
He's the best.
But yeah, and then like you said against Carl Robertson, like that dude's a beast. So again, I agree with Sebs. I don't really know what to expect from Darren Stewart, but Julian Marquez is a very well-built guy, pretty technically sound, just overall solid fighter. Although I am surprised to see the line so inflated. I think that's the looking for a fight hype. So, I mean, if this was a year or 2 years ago, I'd probably be saying take the shot on Darren Stewart. But again, trying to find solid spots. So I'm just going to pass because I can't really trust either guy here.
I'm actually kind of curious, what's your kind of views on guys coming off of win streaks and guys already in the UFC and already kind of thriving off of maybe 3 fights, and 1 being a loss and 2 being a win, or 2 being a loss?
I think the beauty of MMA is that every fight's a unique situation. So you can't really use stats or trends. You know what I mean? You kind of have to just break them down stylistically, hear how they're talking at the moment, what they're working on in the gym, where they're training, stuff like that. I put more emphasis into stuff like that rather than win streaks. Like, a lot of people got caught. I remember when Pettis was on the decline, I heard a lot of people saying like, I'm going to bet Pettis because there's no way he loses 3 in a row. Like that logic doesn't
so
hold.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's like it depends on who he fights.
Yeah,
it depends on who he fights, and it depends on how he's training and how he's approaching and how he matches up with the guys. So I just really try to look at each fight just completely individually.
Nice. What were you, Sebs? What were you think?
Who are we talking about now? I just
Just
forgot.
in general, when it comes down to either win streaks or do you go by guys who are already in there?
Oh yeah, I'm like Z, man,
Yeah.
100%. I tailor this stuff up stylistically. I think that's the only way to do it, especially like how me and Z are betting. Like I know like you're just getting into this game, so you're not with all the bets and whatnot yet. But like when you're betting, man, the only way to go is stylistically and like how these guys match up and how their form is at. I think that's a good one. The streaks don't matter as much. Like with like a lot of people say like, oh, if you're in recent form, it's gonna like I don't know. It's an interesting conversation because you can be like a Max Holloway who's like on a 12-fight win streak, and you can be like fucking killing people, and like it's like yeah, your form is just like unbelievable at the moment, and he's a great fighter, but and then
that is a good example of momentum though, because he's like coming into his own. And he's just building off that momentum. So like training every day, super motivated, things like that. Where you could look at a guy who's lost a few and trying to move camps, trying to regain himself. So there is kind of some play into it, but again, I would focus more on like stylistic matchups, where they're training, where their head's at, you know.
Yeah, me as well. Me too.
Makes sense.
All right. So Gib, who do you like here? Or did you start us off, Julian Marquez?
Yeah.
Okay. So next up we got Josh Emmett. Ricardo Lamas -2. Or actually, you know what? We're gonna save that one. We're gonna go Abel Trujillo -181. John Makdessi +160. Abel dropped down a lot. Wow, money coming in on Makdessi and that shitty chin. But all right. So like let's break down this one. I got this first. I like Abel a lot. Yeah, I took the 3-unit shot on him at -199 to win 1.5 units. Guys, just like NAIA All-American, four-time All-American. So he's an awesome wrestler. Abel comes from Combat Club. Those guys. So he's training at like Hard Knocks right now with Henry Hooft and all those guys like Kamaru Usman and stuff who I expect to be in his corner. Recently those guys have been doing some damage, man. Hopefully not later on we'll talk about that, but I think I don't know, man. Abel Trujillo in this fight is just like this, like we were just talking about stylistically. Matchup with Makdessi, a guy who doesn't have the best takedown defense. If he gets him down once, I think it's going to be trouble because he knows he can get them down. He'll get him down constantly. And I think with his shitty chin, Makdessi, if Abel lands one of those big shots that he throws, like he has a lot of power. And if he lands with one of those big shots, I think it's over, man. I think the fight will be over. Yeah, how about you, Gib?
Well, Makdessi's coming off of that loss to Lando Venata, which I don't think is a bad thing. I mean, not a lot of people can, predict a lot of movements like that out of somebody. So Abel Trujillo does a lot of those, a lot of improvised kicks. He goes for lots of big shots, big like KOs as well. But he does have a huge submission game, which is part of what he does. I think this is a really nice fight for both of them. Again, another Canadian in this, so I'd like to see John Makdessi get it back. I know he's not exactly even when I kind of did this fight going through it. I don't pick him on paper, but I do like the way he fights. And I think he does put quite a bit into it, even when he gets knocked out by Don Cerrone or Yancy Medeiros, guys who are super top level as well. So yeah, that's what I'm going right now. I mean, he's coming off of a loss to James Vick as well, Trujillo. So he also wants it, right? So
who are you going with? You're going.
I got John Makdessi. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is. Here we go. The fate of the week.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last week was Gritzmacher was his best pick. But all right, Z, how about you, my man?
Yeah, I know our boy Emmet McKelton's on Abel pretty big. Got a max
Oh
bet on
yeah,
him,
got a max
and
bet.
obviously you're on him too.
Yeah,
So when I heard that, I kind of dug into the tape more because I was like, all right, let me take a look at this, and I get where you're coming from, and also like, I mean, John Makdessi, he hasn't looked good in a long time, you know. Lost to Alan Patrick, was getting lit up by Shane Campbell, then caught him. Shane Campbell's not mobile or durable. Uh, Lost his jaw, lost to Yancey in a close fight, right? Like that could have gone. That's the one thing that gives me pause here is Makdessi does have high output. So if he's flicking that front kick and he's moving and just throwing stuff, I could see him weaseling a decision. Beat Mehdi Baghdad, but Mehdi just gave that fight away, had him rocked
yeah.
so bad, then went for a flying armbar, ended up
Which
on
was
bottom.
this so stupid.
So stupid. And even then, like split decision, you know, I
Yeah,
scored it for Mehdi still, you know, because he
yeah.
had him hurt early in the
I
first
thought he
round.
was gonna finish him.
Yeah, even in the first round, he had him hurt, took his foot
Yeah,
off the gas, gave that round away, gave away the second round, and then had him hurt in the third and gave that one away too. Abel Trujillo is not a guy known to give
rounds away.
to take his foot or
Yeah,
take his foot off the gas.
Yeah,
If he has you hurt, he's
he
gonna swarm
pursues.
you.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then we got the Lando KO. And you say he's got a bad chin, but I mean that walking into a kick like that's gonna knock out
No,
anybody.
yeah, you'll get
oh
knocked out. It
yeah,
doesn't matter who you are.
You will get knocked out. Now the
Yeah,
thing is, that was December, I believe, of 2016. Yeah, December of 2016, right? So
he's
he's
taking
taken the
it.
necessary time off. He's taken the necessary time off after a loss. He was going to come back versus Sage Northcutt. And this is why I use Tapology now. I love Tapology. But
Yeah,
he was going to fight Sage, got injured. Abel was going to have a fight, and he got injured. So they're both kind of coming off little injuries. I don't think it's anything too serious. And then stylistically here, I mean, Abel throws bombs, so he can catch Makdessi for sure because Makdessi's kind of there to be hit. He likes to duck his head a lot, so the
yeah,
bombs, the winging hooks can come up over the top. Uh, he could come in with uppercuts or with knees, or like you said, he could go for takedowns, get on top, win rounds, gas Makdessi out. But the thing is, Makdessi can weasel, and Abel a lot of his wins, man. Let's go through his wins real quick because he comes from behind in a lot of his wins.
yeah,
Like Jordan Rinaldi, super close fight, won that at the end of the third round. It was he was down. It was 1-1 going into the third, and Rinaldi hurt him and was winning the third round, and then Abel cracked him back and won the round. So he had to come from behind there. Obviously, he lost to James Vick, where he never really got anything going. Landed a good overhand right, but Vick, you know, ate it, no
yeah,
problem. Against Tony Sims, again, he's getting pieced up with fundamental striking, straight shots down the pipe, and then wraps up. Actually, it was really nice the way he did it because he submitted him without guard. He actually went on his hip, and got him
yeah.
to choke without guard, got him to tap
That
without guard.
math choke.
That's nasty. Grayson Tebow sucks. The betters on him that night lost because the ref called the fight early, and that actually happened earlier in Abel's career too. So pretty unlucky that the refs like to stop his fight when he's just chilling in a choke. Lost to Ferguson, you know, no shame there.
no,
Varner was losing and then lands a bomb, and then Roger Bowling. Now we're getting it. Basically, all his recent wins, he's come from behind to get them. Jordan Rinaldi, Tony Sims, and Jamie Varner. So not a guy you want to trust at minus 200 versus a guy who has the output and, you know, kind of not like classic kickboxing, but more traditional martial arts where he will flick that front kick out, like I said, that front leg. He'll move around. So I understand the lean on Abel. I think he could land a bomb. Maybe John Makdessi's chin is cracked at this point, but I don't know. I could see Makdessi squeaking it out.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I see.
I looked at it real close because the line actually got better too. Like Pinnacle has it minus 180. So I was like,
Yeah,
man, let me see what's up. But another point here is Abel's like he kind of looks young, but he's like 34, isn't he? Yeah, he's 34 years old. So
yeah,
although he kind of moved camps and is at a camp surrounded by him now, still training with Neil Melanson and whatnot.
yeah.
I just don't see him at 34 really making any improvements to his game. I don't see him putting together the volume. I don't see him developing a jab. He's just going to wing bombs, and he can do that. He's a physical beast. You know, Messi could win the long game here.
Yeah. Like I tend to agree with you guys at some points. I just like I see Abel like just being able to pressure him, and this guy's gonna break as well, man. Like I don't know how long Makdessi's gonna hold up, and I've never seen him on his back foot, like, relatively, like, working that well on his back foot. It's usually when he's on his front foot, flicking it out, like you said, that he works in his best, with his best range and his best punches and whatnot, his best strikes. But other than that, man, like I said, I got Abel, Trujillo. These guys just made me feel like shit. So
No,
I'm
you
kidding.
don't feel like shit. He's got the firepower to take him out. I could see it. I could see it. It's just when I watch the tape, I see him getting worked a lot too, right?
I don't think Makdessi has a submission to his name, which that's a huge goal. Absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Abel's smart, I think he takes him down early, banks around, tires him out, But he's got those bombs, so it's like.
I think he's gonna want to play a little bit of the game upstairs to see how it is and test that chin for a little bit. But I know, without joking, I do like Abel in this spot. It was like at minus 200. It was a little bit of like a fucking. I don't know if I should have pulled the trigger, but I did like the spot. I thought it would go up to maybe minus 230, so I wanted to take it before that. Next up, we got Glover Teixeira. Misha Cirkunov minus 164, Glover plus 145 now. Oh my goodness!
I think we were talking about this one already.
Yeah, this is some disrespect to Glover, I believe, guys. But,
jeez.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So I think Glover comes in with quick combinations. Like Z was saying, his three is very good. His fight against Gustafsson was like it was a little bit to the point where like a lot of people were making it more than what it seems. He did take a beating, but he did get poked in his eye at some point of that fight, and he got
early round one.
Yeah, like round one, and it fucked with him for a lot of that.
Wasn't exactly on his side, no.
Yeah, no, exactly not. And so when that fight kept playing out, I saw him. Whatever, he wasn't reacting to the uppercut as well as he should have. But then he comes in and he ends up getting knocked out, whatever, in the fifth round. It takes a whole bunch of punishment. So I'll give the bettors out that are on Cirkunov. He takes a lot of punishment in that fight, I believe. But he looks good at some points. Early round 2 and like round 3, a little bit of round 3 looks all right before Gustafsson starts putting it on. Against Jared Cannonier, who's a power puncher and he knows what he is, takes him down, holds just demolish ragdolls him for 3 rounds. You know what I mean? 30-26 is him. It makes him look like he doesn't belong in that elite conversation. Now, I'm not saying Glover is elite. I just think he loses to the elite only. Rumble Johnson, Gustafsson, John Jones. He only loses to the elite. And there's a guy who knocked out, like that knockout of Rashad Evans was like quick combinations inside the pocket. He's a great grappler. And I know Misha's a great grappler as well. And he's got some decent stand-up. But I lean with Glover all day on the stand-up. I lean with Glover on the grappling as well. And I think the experience is on Glover's side. I think the only thing is like the damage taken is a little bit on the side of Cirkunov, just because of he's only suffered that one knockout that we've seen. But even that was like that wasn't the worst knockout. So I'll give him that. It was just a back of the head equilibrium like finish punch, short right hook to the back of the ear. Yeah, and like Cirkunov, whatever, man, he's all right, but like I said, he's not. I don't see him better at Glover at anything. So I took a shot on Glover at 2.54 units at plus 118, 23 units. If it gets to plus 150, I'm gonna add another whatever 0.5 or 0.46 units to make it 3 units. And yeah, I got Glover all day here, man. I think he gets the job done. Z, how about you? Z, how about you, man?
Yeah, this line keeps climbing, and I am tempted to bet Glover. When you look at Misha, I mean, like his UFC run, they basically fed him easy fights the whole time, like Daniel Jolly, total can, Alex Nicholson, middleweight, Ion Kudlaba in his debut. You know, and Ion was having success with short, tight hooks the same way Glover can. It's just that Ion was inexperienced and didn't know how to pace himself and doesn't have the same level of grappling that Glover does. And then Nikita Krylov, and again, Nikita found some success too, swept him and whatnot. Then he gets starched by Volkan, and no one really knows what to think about it because on one hand, Volkan is knocking out everybody. We realize that now. And it was just such a funny way that Misha fell. It's like, did Misha get knocked out in training right before that fight? Is he damaged goods, or is it just a weird fluky type of fight? You know, I really don't know where to rate that or how to look at that one. When you look at Glover, this dude, I've heard the argument that he's, you know, taking too much damage, yada yada. So I really went back into the tape on him, and I mean, I tell you, like, maybe from his early fights, he's improved, but then he just got to a level and he's just been consistent. Like his whole UFC career, I see the exact same guy, which isn't a bad thing. Like he's just consistently, we know exactly what he is. He throws a 3-2. He throws the right hand and then he comes in with the left hook. His left hook is deadly, but it's very limited in its range. He's very short range, but it's super powerful. He's got an amazing top game. He smashes people on top. And he's well conditioned. He's got great conditioning. He can go hard for 3. He made it to the 5th round versus Gustafsson, and he's losing to the very upper echelon: John Jones, Rumble, Gustafsson, Phil Davis in a fight. I went back and I watched this because I was like, man, if Phil Davis was able to dominate Glover, maybe Misha can ragdoll him too. But that fight, I remembered, you know, I had a bet on Phil Davis just because I thought he would be able to do what he did. But that fight was competitive, you know. It's just a couple takedowns that won it for Phil. So I definitely like where the line's at for Glover. Like you said, like his boxing, I think, is better. I was really looking to see if Misha's open for the left hook because that's Glover's most potent weapon. But I think Glover's going to have more success with his cross here because it's southpaw versus orthodox, and he starts with the cross. Yeah. So he just fires it down the pipe. I think he can catch Misha like that. And also, Misha's a southpaw. And he really relies on his shoulder. Like he keeps his lead hand low. So if Glover can spot that and come up over the top and clip him behind the ear again, we could see the same type of knockout that we saw with Volkan. Although I know that was a right hook, but same similar, you know, shot. And like you said, like on the ground, I mean, I know Misha's a beast. He's got a lot of submission grappling experience, and he looks like a physical specimen. But Glover's no slouch at all. He can get up off the bottom. He can maintain top control. He does a lot more damage on top control. Like he can submit guys on the top too. And I just think the cardio is really going to win Glover the long game here. So really, if Misha doesn't ragdoll Glover for 3 or submit him, I see Glover taking this fight. And at this point, I am very tempted to bet on Glover Teixeira. Last thing I'm going to note too, and this is just something that I find myself doing a lot, is I think Glover's on the small side of light heavyweights just because of his frame, how he's proportioned, like when you look at him. But he's a big dude. Like he's just a big,
man, he's thick.
True.
He's thick, he's tall, and he's well built. Like he's not too long, he's not too short and pudgy. Like he's just built well. Now the stats do say Misha's bigger, but again, Misha carries a lot of muscle on especially his upper body. So when we see them face off, it's going to be interesting to see who actually appears to be the larger man. But yeah, I gotta say I am leaning with Glover. The odds makers opened him at -155, and now he's like +145. So if you want to judge value based on that, there's a ton on Glover at this point. But yeah, I mean, I guess people are riding the Misha. I really don't see what he's like. What has he done? You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Done? Like, what's this all this hype's about that everyone's jumping on the board?
Again, it's a lot of the hometown hero stuff as well. He's another fellow Canadian in the UFC. He won his first few fights, like you said. They kind of just threw him a bunch of W's, and first shot at the Volkanovski and got absolutely destroyed. He does come in with that hands down type of style, which I'm sure Glover will probably be able to take advantage of. Again, on paper, Glover's got this wrapped. The guy's fought better competition, a lot top level guys. And I think you guys are right. He is extremely big for his division, and he just always seems to get paired up with those guys who are super tall. The Arlovskis and the John Joneses, who just feed him uppercuts, and he just can't quite crack a lot of these guys who stay a little far out of the pocket. But with Misha being a little closer in size, and now they're stuck right together, it could open him up for those 3-2s, those big shots that he likes to pull. So again, it is not good for Misha. Even on the ground, I'm pretty sure Teixeira's had to stop pretty big guys who have high-level jiu-jitsu, or if not close to or higher than Misha's caliber on him. So, he's had to tangle with that. Obviously, Misha has a lot to prove here, and he's got to, like you guys said, start the takedowns early and really make him on his back foot, lose the first round, and hopefully go on from there. But I think Teixeira's got this fight. I hope Misha wins just for the, guys close from around here, so that'd be nice.
Yeah, he's close to us from Mississauga or whatever. So, but fuck him, I don't give a fuck.
But it's money on the line now.
Yeah, it's money on the line. All right, so next up we got Mike Perry. We got Santiago Ponzinibbio minus 189 or minus 193, and Mike Perry plus 170. Initially, man, was leaning Santiago Ponzinibbio. As I went more into this tape, I can't take him. It's a pass for me just because this guy does his best work inside the pocket, where Mike Perry does his best work as well. So I see this being a brawl. And at that point, anybody can take this fight. I've seen Mike Perry get wobbled by Alan Joban. I've seen Mike Perry starch people. And then I've seen Ponzinibbio get wobbled by Sean Strickland and Lorenz. And then I've seen, was it Lorenz that finished him? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Lorenz, yeah. And then
it was kind of weird though. He wasn't out cold or anything. It was like he got up and then ate a bunch of shots, and then Herb stopped it.
Yeah,
I think it was Herb.
And then he's been starching people as of since too. Like the Gunnar Nelson fight, a little controversial as we saw like a poke in the eye, but he did finish him. And this fight I just keep going back and forth on, but like even right now, I don't know who I'm picking. I guess I lean Ponzinibbio, but I want to see Perry get the job done. So it's a pass for me. But you know what? For the fuck of it, I'm gonna go Mike Perry, man. Let's go platinum Mike Perry. Let's get it. And at plus 170, that's pretty good value for like his fucking power and everything. With a wobbly Santiago Ponzinibbio, who's going to come inside the pocket and brawl, like plus 170 isn't bad to take the shot. If you just take a 1 or 2 unit shot on him, I don't think that's a bad shot at all.
He might win.
Yeah,
Perry might win, but I don't see him brawling, man. I think Ponzi establishes his jab and throws long shots. Like his output's high, but he's not in there winging hooks. You know what I mean? And he's not in there like bobbing and weaving. He's in there moving laterally a lot. What I think is going to happen is Perry's going to get super frustrated in this fight when Ponzinibbio is just sniping him with the jab, moving, parrying. He's going to be moving a lot and circling out on him a lot. And then when Mike starts to put his hands down and charge in, that's when Ponzinibbio is going to stop short and throw a laser beam. You know what I mean? And Mike Perry can get cracked. We've seen him get dropped bad in the amateurs. And so, like, I understand the Ponzinibbio money coming in. I definitely do. Especially even if he doesn't get the knockout, his output should win him the long game. So with Perry, you're really kind of banking on him getting into the clinch, I think. Because if he gets into the clinch and throws elbows like he did against Ellenberger, of course, or knees, I think he is the stronger, more physical guy. So he can impose his will in the clinch, but I don't think Ponzinibbio lets him get there. I think he's going to be shucking him off pretty easily. I think he parries a lot of the stuff that Perry throws. And I just see him landing a lot of straight shots on him because Perry, like he's not a technical striker. He definitely keeps his hands down and invites the brawl, but
Yeah.
Ponzi's too smart for that. He's gonna be popping him with the jab, like I said, throwing the 1-2, keeping it simple and being evasive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was super tempted to take the shot on Ponzi, and I'm gonna finish up the rest of the tape tonight on Ponzi and Perry. But like for right now, I'm standing with Perry. He just made a wonderful point, man. It's true though. Fuck, when you think of it like that, in the long game, if this lasts all 3 rounds, Pons has this 100%.
Unless they reward the pressure, the marching forward of Perry. Because we've seen fights like that where like Diego Sanchez wins fights just by eating shots and moving forward, right? But he shouldn't be winning that. So it's like, you want to bank on the judges rewarding pressure or Perry landing a big shot, or do you want to bank on the volume, the straight shots, the output, like volume, like I said, and just the movement of lean with Ponzi? But the reason why I haven't bet on this is because I don't really want to bet against like a force of nature like Mike Perry, like a young guy full of confidence, definitely has power and physicality. So he could win. That's the thing. But I don't see him winning the majority of the fight.
Yeah.
You guys there? Did I lose you?
No. Yeah, we're here. The only thing I'm thinking of is, like you said, the force of nature of Mike Perry. That's the only thing that's scary is his power. Why I haven't bet this, and why I'm picking him is his power. But like you said, technically, fucking Ponzi should be able to get this win, man. I gotta look into the state more because this bet's a little intriguing. I was gonna take a bet on Ordine Taleb. I think I might switch it to Ponzi, man. I gotta listen to one more interview I think I heard with Mike Perry, and because Perry trains with his girlfriend. Do you know that's his main training partner? Like him,
it's messed
and
up.
like Alex Nicholson and stuff, man. And fucking, he trains at a UFC gym. He's not what the fuck, man.
And Ponzi's at ATT. You know, he's at ATT for a while.
Yeah.
But really, I'm looking over his wins right here. He has not beaten a real power puncher. Has Ponzi? Like Gunnar, let's make one thing clear about Gunnar, because people say Gunnar hurt him early, which is true. But Gunnar has this ability, the karate ability, to leap in and throw shots. Perry doesn't have that. He doesn't possess that kind of footwork and that leap in ability. So you could say Perry could land a similar uppercut, but I don't see Perry getting to that distance the same way Gunnar did. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But you look over his record, he hasn't beaten a power puncher. And Sean Strickland was dropping him with jabs, so it's like,
yeah, but Mike Perry's not going to throw fucking jabs.
Well, Perry's
but I'm just saying, durability wise for Ponzi.
Yeah,
we haven't seen Ponzi hold up to damage.
Yeah.
Do you think Mike Perry will land on him?
He could, yeah. He can.
But you don't want to bet that for plus 170. You know, why? You know what I mean? That's not.
That's why I think this is a good bet with Ponzi right now. I'm looking over. He's minus one. What is he? 190, 193 or something.
What's that?
Ponzi's minus 193 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or minus 193. I think that's a decent price for him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think point. Yeah, and now I'm thinking about it too.
For both fighters.
I'm thinking about switching my fucking pick right now live on this Sebs show, and taking Ponzi, man. I think.
Can't you see that jab evade, and then 1-2 laser beam, and then
I agree. I think
I just did it. Minus 193.
You bet it?
Yeah, 2.5 units.
Good call.
Impulsive says.
And you have to sometimes. I think he gets it done, man. I didn't all the points you're bringing up right now. It's true though. It's true. The jab pull game is going to be a lot of what I think this game's going to be about, what this fight's going to be about. So I got Ponzi actually. Now I'm switching my pick over Ponzi. How about you, Gib?
Well, I think I agree with Ponzi's ability to deal with guys who go from 0 to 60 really quickly. Like Gunnar Nelson has that karate stance that he uses, and he gets away with a lot of sneaky stuff because he just goes, he just kicks, or just is very quick on the release. But you can't be like that against Ponzi. He's very methodical. He's thinking always, and he's always right outside of range, and you don't think he is. He's very good at managing distance, I think. But, I mean, Mike Perry tends to eliminate a lot of guys.
He establishes range very early.
Oh, yeah. Mike Perry doesn't give you time, and he's very push, which could get him caught a lot because of the 0-60 thing that I said. It just, he throws, misses, bang. Santiago tags him, moves, misses. But I think as he pressures, as the cage starts to hit someone's back, Mike Perry starts to really land his big stuff. This is still a really good fight. But I like Ponzi at that pick, and I would pick him too to win it as well. But I think Mike Perry is super impressive, and I'd like to see him win again because he can get another fight of the night. I think he's been picking those up recently.
Yeah, for sure. Breaks my heart now that I only chose Ponzi. Now I could have got him at such a good price before. You live
the thing
and
with
you
Ponzi
live.
too is watching the tape. Like he fights at an insane clip. He's always throwing punches.
Yeah,
like, he's always
very
working.
active, very active.
Super active, man.
Yeah, I like him a lot in this spot now. Z persuaded me. Like
I don't even have a bet on him.
I know, but
didn't bet him.
I was
Don't come
kinda,
crying to me when he gets elbowed into the
Oh,
dark.
no.
say that.
That's
Like,
the first person you go to.
No, I was leaning him, so I had to make myself feel better and pick Perry. And then it's true though. I don't think he's gonna brawl with him. I don't think he's stupid enough to brawl with him.
Exactly.
I don't think he's stupid enough to be in a brawl with him. So for that, I actually put 3 units on him to win. I think I got 1.6 or 1.7 units to win, something like that. But yeah, next up, we got the co-main event of the night, guys. We got Ricardo Lamas minus 271 take on Josh Emmett at plus 235. I'll let you take this one, Gib.
I like Josh Emmett in this. I love his hands down style. I enjoy people who make that work because I don't think it works a lot. You get cracked really quickly in the UFC, especially under the lights and against guys who are high level. But this guy is not really shifting, other than the Desmond Green decision that he got with a split. He really does drag them out. But he is also pretty deadly on the submission. He's from Team Alpha Male, so he's training with a lot of high-level competition. But Ricardo Lamas, super high level as well, coming off of the win over Jason Knight. It's gonna be a good fight because I think Josh Emmett brings a lot of pressure game that can be played where both are kind of throwing off each other in the pocket and maybe even getting a takedown because Ricardo Lamas is pretty dangerous on the floor. If you watch that Charles Oliveira fight, he was in a lot of bad spots on the ground against Charles Oliveira, and just out of nowhere in the second round comes back with a guillotine choke. I'm pretty sure he pulled off 4 or 5 escapes straight. So I think if it goes to the ground, Josh Emmett might not have enough to take him to take it. But if he grinds out a decision, stays on his feet, and keeps the fight going at his pace, I think he does take it. So this is a close one.
Yeah. Actually, I was leaning Josh Emmett before this too. It was just it's hard to bet him in this spot, man. I know he's plus fucking 250.
I'm telling you, Ricardo is deadly on the floor.
Yeah, but exactly. Lamas is just dangerous. Lamas is he's got a great submission attack. He's a good wrestler, and his striking output is high. I think a guy like Josh Emmett, we've only seen him once at 145. We don't know if he's going to gas or not. We don't know like how consistently he can go for 3 rounds and be pushed, or how far he can be pushed for 3 rounds. So for that reason, I'm actually going to side with Ricardo Lamas. This is a pass for me, but just because I wouldn't take Ricardo Lamas at this price. But this is a pass for me, but I do have Ricardo Lamas in this one. Z, how about you?
Yeah, I'll pick Lamas, but full disclosure, I didn't really look into this one too much. When you look at Emmet, I mean, he doesn't really have any big wins, and I'm pretty sure he's taking this on short notice. So I don't know how making that weight. Like, I don't know if he's how bad the weight cut's going to be for him. So definitely keep an eye out for that if you're looking to take the dog shot. But I mean, Ricardo Lamas is just as solid as you get. Like, he's just such a good gatekeeper. Like, look at his losses: Holloway, Mendez, Aldo, Alcantara, and Castillo. And Castillo is in 2009. You know what I mean? Yuri's a monster. Aldo, Mendez, and Holloway, all monsters. You know, all championship level fighters. So is Josh Emmett a championship level fighter? I don't really think so. I think he's just a guy with a good output, well-rounded game, pretty physical. But he's an alpha male. You know, he has an overhand right. He's got good grappling, got a good guillotine, I'm sure. But realistically, I think Lamas can establish his jab. I think Lamas can wrestle with him. And Lamas, a super underrated aspect about his game is his kicks. This dude has awesome kicks.
Yeah.
You know, so if he's establishing range and keeping Emmet on the outside, and you just see Emmet doing a lot of nothing, a lot of like movement, I could see Lamas winning the fight. But I didn't really look into it. I'm not really tempted to bet that at all.
Yeah, I feel you guys at that point too. Like, like, why would you bet Lamas at this point against a guy who just got 4 knockdowns too? Like, it's a little fucking scary at this price, you know?
It's like, I think he's likely to win the fight, but also could Emmet, like, because Felipe Anjos isn't that durable.
No.
But could Emmet outwork Lamas and make it close? And then
sure, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm looking at right now. You know, I think that's where, like, a lot of people are, why not take the shot even at plus 235? Like, for me personally, I have too many bets already on the fucking card, obviously. But at plus 235, that's not a bad shot to take on Josh Emmett. I personally don't hate on it at all. I don't hate on anyone taking that shot. So everyone who's picking Josh Emmett, best of luck to you. You're taking Lamas. I took Lamas as a pick here, so best of luck to you as well. Main event time. We got, let me get Pinnacle odds because we have sick odds for this. We have minus 109 for Rafael dos Anjos. Oh man, I should grab him now. Okay.
Why?
Because everyone else had, all the other sites have about minus 115.
Yeah. Wayne's might flip that around though. Robbie's looking big.
Possibility.
I don't know.
Okay, whatever. So no disclosure. Obviously, I would like Rafael dos Anjos here at minus 109, and fucking Robbie Lawler's minus 103 here. I think RDA gets the job done, man. I think he values him. If this goes all 5, he definitely has it because Robbie's gonna gas hard when he goes for those blitzes. Robbie has power inside of the pocket. He's no joke. He's got some good strikes, and but we saw that chin get diminished over time, man. It's like, to what point is his chin now? You know, we don't really know. We saw that his last fight.
Why? Why is his chin suck? Because
oh my goodness, Woodley? Carlos Condit, Woodley, fucking Rory. My man's been eating shots since Nick Diaz.
Yeah, but he got knocked out by T Wood. He got dinged up by Rory. But I mean,
and I think he lost that Condit fight. Like I rewatched it. He lost that Condit fight, man.
Did I think he did because there was a bit of a lack of activity, and even argue that Lawler has a lot of good sprinting rounds that tends to take right at the end. Even the ones you count, it's still close, and I don't think you can give him those, you know, because you'd have to arguably say he won every round that he sprinted in, which he didn't.
And I don't see that happening here. So I'm honestly waiting. I was waiting all week for the lines to get better on RDA. Might take the shot on him after the podcast at minus 109. Seems like the best odds you can get for him right now. So I might be taking him at minus 109. Robbie, I don't see much improvement from him from his last fights. Like from his last few fights, it's not like he fought differently in that Cowboy Cerrone fight since going to Henry Hooft and training at Hard Knocks 365 now. It's not like he's totally a different fighter striking or anything. He's the same Robbie Lawler that wants to get in your face and pressure you with these punches. And like the weird thing about it is training at Henry Hoof's is like, man, Robbie Lawler, if there's one place he shouldn't be, I'm telling you the truth, it's Henry Hoof's because they spar hard at Hard Knocks. They spar fucking hard. Black Zillions have always been known to spar hard. Combat Club, you name it. Henry Hoof's likes to spar hard. And like
That
that's
Dutch style.
that Dutch style, man. And like fucking, if you're Robbie Lawler, is that the best thing for you at this point of your career? I don't know. So I'm leaning RDA all day. I think the work he's been doing with Jason Perillo is gonna add up and look even better. He's been getting the best of training. He's like training at Ruka is like paid developments to like people like Cyborg, who we'll talk about in 2 weeks. But like Michael Bisping looked better than ever since the switch to Perillo, and now RDA, who's on a run right now at 170. Man, this will be 3-0 if he wins this, and you can't argue him not for a title shot. It's either him or Covington if he wins this. So I got RDA all day here. How about you, Gib?
Well, with Rafael Dos Anjos' last fight being Neil Magny, armbar was amazing.
Arm triangle.
Arm triangle was amazing. Yeah. Again, I love Robbie Lawler. He's one of my big favorite fighters. He goes in every fight like it's a war. Just really throws bombs, sprints when he has to, and that could be hard for him if it does go to the decision, because he just runs his gas tank. But even that little bit that's in there, he uses it. Whether it's getting hit coming forward, whether he's kind of eating a punch and throwing a big body shot after you, going for takedowns, and he even is able to defend a lot of this stuff while being hit, which is ridiculous. I don't know how you do that. Obviously, a guy who's used to a very grinding type pressure, which Dos Anjos tends to put on people. I don't know if he can light him up like Eddie Alvarez did, but he's definitely going to throw some bombs at Dos Anjos. So it's a close fight for me, I think, but I do give it to Dos Anjos just by a little bit more. I think his submission game is just a bit better, and if it comes into the later rounds, and then that does have to play a part, he can probably take Robbie Lawler on with that. But he could always be caught with something big at the last minute, coming forward, winning a round, right? So
yeah, for
you've
sure.
seen the scary stopping power before from Robbie.
And just to cut you off, I just placed my bet on Dos Anjos at minus 109. 3 units to win. I'll do the calculations in a bit, but it's 3 units at minus 109. So, let's go with Dos Anjos. Let's get it done. I just looked at – don't think the odds are going to get better, man. If they do, they'll get a little bit better at the time of weigh-ins, but I don't see them getting much better than what they are right now. But, yeah, Z, how about you, my man? Z?
You cut off.
Yeah, how about you, my man? What do you think about this fight?
Am I up?
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
I think I see the angle for Dos Anjos. He's probably got speed. He's got volume. They're both southpaws, so that's interesting. But the thing here is the way Eddie caught Dos Anjos with the right hook. I know he was losing and all that. Robbie throws a nasty right hook, and he's southpaw, right? So he's lead hand right hook. And I could see him catching Dos Anjos with that because Dos Anjos shells a lot. I could just see him stepping in with a nice short right hook. I mean, the thing with Robbie, like you say, he might not have the best gas tank, but he's going 5 rounds with like legit top welterweights for a long time. You know what I mean? So
for a long 17 years, man.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. These guys are both vets.
Was
This
a
is kind of a
champ,
super fight, right? Like two
Oh
former
yeah,
champs, right?
I think this is a super fight. I would, if this was back in the day, it would definitely be a super fight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But
if this
for
was
me, I don't really.
just a year ago. Yeah, sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Just a year ago, it's champ versus champ, right?
Yeah,
But I just don't really feel like betting on this fight. It's weird. Like I like thinking about it in my head. It's like two southpaws going up against each other. Robbie's got bombs. Dos Anjos has pressure and good Muay Thai. The thing with Dos Anjos in this fight, and a weapon that's should be open for him, is the chop, the leg kick, because
yeah,
Melvin Manhoof was butchering Robbie's leg. I went and rewatched that, and although Manhoof's orthodox, he was kicking the inside. Robbie doesn't really deal well with leg kicks, so I think Dos Anjos could chop his leg here because he rarely fights southpaws, but when he does, he's got a nasty left kick, um, like all King's MMA fighters do. So yeah, I get the take, but for me, I'm just going to enjoy this one, man. I think it's going to be a scrap. I think Robbie could catch him and knock him out, or Dos Anjos could win the long game. I don't really think Dos Anjos could submit Robbie. Robbie's just such a vet that I don't think it's a weakness, but Dos Anjos is a legit black belt. Came into the UFC as a black belt, so he's only improved since then. But I'm passing from this fight, but it's going to be awesome to watch.
yeah, for sure. Um, so all in all, man, I think this is a great card. We just broke it down from top to bottom, and I didn't see any weak spots.
No, it's solid, like right through. It's just every
Yeah,
fight is going to be fun to watch, good, well
yeah.
matched.
So even if you don't have bets on this card, I advise you to definitely, well, as always, definitely take a look if you don't even have bets on the card. But this one especially is just like what I've been eyeing for a little bit. I've been saying it's going to be one of the best free cards on TV in a while, and I still stand by it, man. I think it is. I said that when Jose Aldo was in this spot though, but I still think Josh Emmett's going to bring the fight, and I think this is going to be a great pay-per-view overall, man, or a great card overall. UFC on Fox 26 in Winnipeg. Great to break it down with my boys here. Z, you can find Z at Rockstar Z on Twitter. Z, any words for the people? Let them know.
Sorry, what's that? Sorry.
Anything you want to tell the people? Let them know.
Yeah, just bet on Jared Cannonier. I think he's the solid spot this weekend. I think Yan's going to gas, and I think we make him look silly. Other than that, yeah, just follow me at Rockstar Z. I'm always down to chat fights. It was fun coming on here and talking to you guys. Gibbs, it was nice to meet you for the first time.
Nice to meet you, man.
And yeah, let's cash these bets this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to have Z on again, and great to talk to Gib as always as well. That's it. I had a fun time breaking down this card. See you guys. Peace out.
All right. Have a good one, guys.